Hello and welcome to Talkin' Baseball. We had the two AL favorites tee off. We had two teams tee off on each other. Big weekend of baseball. Let's talk about it. Hello and welcome back to Talkin' Baseball, presented to you by SeatGeek. They're the geeks about seats. They know all about them. Go see a game. Go see a West Coast game. Go see a Middle America game. Go see an East Coast game. If you use code TALKIN, you'll get $20 off your first purchase. Thank you, SeatGeek. And it's a baseball summer, people. Hockey's done. Basketball's done. There's no foosball right now. It's baseball only. And I'm with the king of baseball only, Trevor Plouffe, BBD. No Jamalama Ding Dong, as he is working on the fight breakdown. It's looking like it's going to be an all-timer. He is in it deep. That was one of the longest baseball fights I've ever seen, so I can only imagine how far in the weeds my sweet Jimothy is right now. But we will do our best. Players only. Chat, we need you today. We need some MVP. We need some MVP performances out of the chat today. Trevor Plouffe out in California. How are you doing, Big Daddy?
I'm doing great. You know, Monday episodes are my favorite. I mean, especially this weekend. How long is this show going to be? 16 hours? Yeah. There's so much shit we got to cover. Excuse my language.
Yeah.
You know, when something like this happens, we're talking about the Brawl. I don't know how much we're going to get into it today. Might save it. I don't know. But when something like that happens, and then the internet, there's only one guy they're looking to. And that's our king, Jimmy O'Brien. That's got to be a strange feeling for him. You and I have talked about this a little bit. I think he loves it. I think he thrives under that pressure. But I'm excited to see what he's got cooking, because that's going to set the internet on fire.
Yeah, he carries that weight. I know he woke up to some dog poop in his living room, which he wasn't happy about that this morning. But that will be on its way soon. Maybe, who knows? Maybe it drops during the ebb. Maybe we just let it rip live.
Oh my!
And watch all 22 minutes of it. Yeah, this might be our first overnight episode of Talking Baseball. As baseball's just hot in the streets. There's a lot to cover. The Brawl, Yankees, Astros was a wild one. Performances all across baseball were really good. Did you have a good weekend, Trev? What'd you get into?
I did. You know, we had I had a Tyler Skaggs high school all-star game that I managed. I managed the red team. The red team was victorious. I'm 2-0 in the Tyler Skaggs high school game. But a lot of my boys were out there. Bronny was out there. Brad Newman, my old trainer. Brad Boyer, hidden coach of the Stars. So we had some people out there, some really talented high school kids getting after it. Even one kid that's maybe getting me drafted in the first round. Last name Newt out of Sierra Canyon. Shout out. Okay. We had some players, man.
Okay. I love it.
I had a party. I drank some tequila. You know I don't drink tequila, so.
Oh.
Yeah.
Tequila was out.
Wasn't great for me.
Okay. Per usual, it's summertime, so I had a wedding. Actually, one I was pretty stoked for. My buddy Kyle, day one friends. Congrats to him and Katie out in Long Island. On Long Island. Never know. Trev.
Yeah.
I think it's code time, Big Daddy. We got to talk. I mean, a lot of talking baseball celebs.
Forgot I'm National League.
A lot of talking baseball celebs are in this. I mean, Jesse Winker, J.P. Crawford. I mean,
J.P. Crawford.
Yeah. I mean, it feels like a talking baseball all-star episode. And, Trev, you are batting leadoff with the National League, and it's brought to you by Warehouse Games. We're actually in our one-inning league playoffs right now. I think Jamalama Ding Dong is facing off with Jack from We Got Ice tonight. Game 2 of their playoff series. I'm facing off with Nikki Cass. People are saying, their words, not mine, that me and Nikki Cass's last game from Friday is the best blitzball game they've ever seen. Rumors. I don't know. It's their opinion, not mine. Go check out the warehouse games. It's funny whenever we run into people, we get a lot of people that are super excited and love it. And then we also get a lot of people that are like, dude, last Saturday, bro, I landed on your guys' blitzball stuff, and I was there all day. So, like, they're half sad about it, but they're also like, it was awesome. So, Trev in his forgotten rotten jersey right now, and the hat, and the sunnies.
Full uni.
So go check him out, Warehouse Games YouTube channel. So much good stuff on there. The OG Blitzball Battle. Trevor Plouffe, if you would do the honors of walking us through what happened in the National League this weekend.
Well, my people, let's start in Atlanta. I think it's being called the Freddie Freeman Emotional Tour. Dodgers go in and they win 2 out of 3. 4-1 Dodgers, 5-3 Braves, and then 5-3 Dodgers in 11 to take the series. Game 1, Urias, 6 innings pitched, a 1-run ball. It was a great game, okay? Braves had bases loaded, down 4 in the 6th, and Olsen up. Could have been a big moment. He hits the sac fly, and that's all the Braves get. Game 2, Fried versus White. Fried goes 6 2/3 innings pitched with 2 earned runs. David Price got in that game. Ozuna had the go-ahead homer. And in Game 3, Gonsolin versus Strider, in probably the sexiest matchup of the weekend, and does not disappoint at all. Gratterall ends the game getting danced, but a great series right there. Freddie Freeman, like I said, very emotional. Dodgers take 2 out of 3. Moving on, Phillies. I like it. You're taking 3 out of 4 from the Padres, but you lose Bryce Harper. We'll talk about that. 6-2 Phillies, 1-0 Padres, 4-2 Phillies, 8-5 Phillies. 3 out of 4 for them. Musgrove gave up 6 runs in Game 1, and Ranger Suarez was nasty, 7 1/3 with 2 earned runs. Phillies took the lead with 5 in the 6th off of Musgrove. He took a no-hitter into the 5th. And then things just unraveled. We'll get to the rest of the games. The big thing is Harper. We're going to find out today if he needs surgery or if he doesn't, but a big blow to them. Snell hits him with like a 97-mile-an-hour fastball on the hand. Tough one. Phillies take 3 out of 4. Mets down in Florida take on the Marlins, and they take 2 of 3 from the Marlins. 5-3 Mets, 5-3 Mets again. That's kind of cool. 3-2 Marlins to avoid the sweep. Sandy Alcantara, 7 innings pitched with 4 earnies in Game 1. Lindor had a solo homer. It was like the first homer Sandy's given up since May or something like that. Game 2, Bassett does his dang thing. 7 innings pitched, 3 earned runs, and Alonso had 2 homers. Miggy Rojas had a homer in Game 3, and then there was a walk-off. Nick Fortes, congratulations. Ottavino, you hung that one a little bit, but Mets take 2 out of 3. Reds, how about this? Go into San Francisco and take 2 of 3 from the Giants. 4-2 Reds, showing great fortitude. 9-2 Giants in Game 2 before the Reds took Game 3. 10-3. Ashcraft looking nasty out there. Game 1, 8 innings pitched, 2 earned runs. Yaz gets the Giants within 2 with an RBI single in the 8th, but Strickland K's Crawford to end the game. Webb looked nasty Game 2 for the Giants. He starts a double play in the 4th to escape a jam. He's been electric over his last 4 starts, and the Giants just scored all game. And then Game 3, they scored 7, the Reds, in the 3rd inning. Nick Senzel didn't even know he was going to hit again as they batted around. We'll talk about that. But Reds, good job taking 2 out of 3. Don't know where I'm at in the song, but we got one more series. It's the Cubs at Cardinals, and the Cubbies take 2 of 3 from the Cardinals. Hendricks dealt as he always does against the Cardinals. It went 3-0 Cubs, 5-3 Cardinals, and then 6-5 Cubs in 10 in Game 3. We'll get into these games. Like I said, Hendricks dealt. Flaherty has to exit the game. I checked in with him. He's going to be okay. He said it was preventative. Cubs take 2 out of 3, and that is what happened in the National League.
Thank you, Trevor. Your National League standings. The New York Metropolitans remain on top of the East. They have a 5-game lead on the Atlanta Braves. Now, the Phillies, 39-35. They're staying... Hopefully stay away from that 500 area, and you might end up in a good place. Florida Fish, 33-38. Nats, dead. Brewers, they have a 1-game lead on the Cardinals, 42-33. Cardinals, 41-34. Minnie, what is you doing, baby, from the Cardinals? Pirates, Cubs, Reds, although Cubs and Reds win their series, so happy for you guys, but still far out of it. Dodgers, 45-26. They're 2 games up on the San Diego Padres after this weekend, 45-30. The Giants, 39-33, 6.5 game back. And obviously, my Snakes and Rocks bottom feeding currently. Trevor, in your National League, people remember when you dominated with the Phillies. Where do you want to go?
I'd say we go straight to Atlanta. Freddie Freeman coming back home, obviously gets a huge ovation, very emotional press conference. I don't know. Chris Rose asked me this. Do you feel like it's been a little too much from Freeman? Or is this kind of par for the course?
From Freddie individually or just the whole situation or what?
Well, yeah, Freddie, Clayton Kershaw had a quote saying something like, I hope we're not second fiddle because we're a good city too. We're a good team too. Do you think this is it? Like this is closure for Freddie, or where do you think this lands?
I think, how about this? This is where it should end unless we get like a playoff series.
Oh, no.
Like then, let's
no standing ovation in the playoff series.
Oh,
for Freddie
no,
but
back. I'm saying just the pure drama knob. Like, if these two teams do link up in October, and it's Freddie and Olsen and Kenley, oh, my God, Kenley coming
Exactly.
in.
That's another great storyline.
So that's, I think what you and Chris Rose are referencing. At this point, like, the story just kind of needs to end. Like, it was in Atlanta. He gets the standing O. No, dude. Like, this was my whole thing. Forever we were doing Freddie's going to stay in Atlanta. He's a Brave for life, right? And then it's like, well, go get that money, and if you want to live in California and they'll take care of you, why not? But, man, he walked off on perfect terms. Like, literally every player's dream terms. How many other scenarios would a player come back and if they just left in free agency, maybe they get one standing O, maybe they're getting a couple boos and stuff like that. This is perfect for Frederick. And does it end?
And the Braves moved on first. Let's not forget that.
Yeah, right? That's where he's clean on all of this. Like,
I like it. I love that Freddie's emotional. I love that he's letting it out. I told Chris that I saw Top Gun yesterday, and I got emotional in that movie. As you get older, it's just what happens, dude. You start to cry, especially when you have kids, man. Just wait. Start to cry at everything. But this is obviously a fun series besides that fact. Dodgers in game 1, Smith RBI single, and Turner sacrifice fly. They kind of go ahead and just hold that. There was that big moment. They had the bases loaded, down 4-0 in the 6th. Olsen's up. You're like, dude, this could be a freaking moment. Gets the job done with a sac fly, but that's all they get. Freeman in his return, 1 for 3 with a single, 2 walks and 2 runs. Pretty decent game. First game back. He feels comfortable in Atlanta. I wonder why. Game 2, Fried does his thing. 6 2/3 with 2 earned runs. Dansby hits a hanger for a 2-run homer in the 3rd. And you see David Price come in the game. He's looking pretty good. Vila was back, topping out 96. Smith had a game-tying homer in the top of the 8th against Minter, which is nice. A nice shot there. And then Ozuna with the go-ahead 2-run homer in the 8th. Did it for the Braves there. And then, like I mentioned, that last game, sex appeal off the charts.
Ooh.
Catterday versus Strider, and they both look really good. Thompson had the game-tying 2-run single. Did you see it?
Yes, he didn't see it. Right off the glove.
He didn't see it.
Yeah.
He was looking in left field.
Yeah.
And that's one of those things. You get that little cutter there, and off the end of the bat, hey, it worked. You tie the game there. But just a really electric series. Really fun to see this. And, we're going to get into the whole Houston and Yankees thing, but this also feels like could be some sort of playoff matchup, obviously, from last year.
Yeah, it's Michael Harris. You might hear a little bit about him later on in the episode. We'll see. Dansby, I got tagged because he hit that hanging slider. All his home runs had been off of fastballs, but he gets one. So, hey, there you go, Dansby. Problem solved by you. I love David Price looking good. I did not know that. I can I wouldn't mind seeing a little bit of him in October. He's been in some big ones. And the other note here that I'm seeing, we love, team dynamics or even something that feels like it doesn't matter, but very much does matter in baseball. Trey Turner back in the leadoff spot.
Yes.
And going nut job. I love that. That's a big dynamic change. How are you starting the game? One of the best players in ball, and he's, I think, 9 games. He's 18 for 42. That's a 429 batting average, 1 dotting, a couple swipes in the process. So that feels significant. Me and, John Boy Media, we've got some good Braves connections, Peter Moylan, Ashland, to go down. I saw Ashland's tweets were like, please, Kenley, there's one game I beg that you don't blow. It's this one. And tough. Ain't that it? Brewstar finishes it off. God, you forget how freaky that dude is. My goodness.
Yeah. Ozuna got him the game before. He comes back to get Dansby there. I believe it was a fastball, but that was like 102. So, Dansby hitting the fastball as well, but that's 102 for you.
That's a hunjo deuce.
Harris, you mentioned him. We'll get to him a little later in the show, but he made some great catches. He looks like a star in the making.
Little stud. And yeah,
we'll see. Yeah, check about Acuna. We'll have to check on him, see what's going on. There's no fracture in his foot, but he says he can't put pressure on it. So he hopes to be clear the next couple days. Prayers to Acuna. Need that guy in the field.
Need it. And yeah, with the Braves, and me and BBD were talking about this on Wake and Jake a little bit. There's currently 2 kind of standouts in the AL and the NL. It's Dodgers, Mets. It's Yankees, Houston. Padres have been sneaky there along the way, but are the Braves going to keep their hot ways going and kind of get involved in that top tier? Boston Red Sox, you might hear about them in a little bit, but Braves, they take 2 out of 3. Aesthetically pleasing, right? You like these 2 uniforms.
Oh, classic matchup right there. Classic matchup. Love those unis.
And not a bad week or 2 for the Thompson brothers. So that's fun. Matt Olson, did you see he accidentally bumped into Freddie and people were like, whoa, and it was
accidentally, huh?
Oh, okay. I love it. Let's put a little gasoline on that fire. Matt Olson throwing elbows.
Matt Olson date Jake's daughter. He's too nice to be doing that.
I think follow him on the gram. I think he's got a serious girlfriend or fiance, but if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out,
Doesn't work out. 50% of marriages.
Good. Best of luck to you, Matt Olson. Where do you want to go? Do you want to go to your Phillies and the Padres? Keep the East Coast, West Coast? Okay.
Let's stay on the West Coast, East Coast, West Coast. What did you just say? Phillies. Look, great series. You've been playing great. Take 3 out of 4 and against a really good Padres team at home. But, the headline here is Bryce Harper.
Yeah.
I don't know where you go from here. I had to answer this question earlier today on Baseball Today. Is the Phillies season over?
Whoa.
It's hard to say anything, but yeah. Like, how are you going to replace that? Chris shot right back at me. What about Acuna last year with the Braves? I think there's some different themes going on there. But, they're not completely done, but it's going to be tough for them to come back from this. We're, again, awaiting on the news with Bryce. If it's going to require surgery, he's going to have it looked at by a couple different professionals, get a couple different opinions on it, and then they'll decide what to do. But this is either going to force them to kind of lay down or to go real hard at the trade deadline with Dombrowski. And I think that's kind of what everyone's interested in seeing, dude. Did you see the hit by pitch?
I sure did, Trev, because I shouldn't say one of my favorite things. Well, it was your guy Snellzilla, right? A Trevor Plouffe Instagram Live king. And Snell, because we can do this because we're humans and we live in a society, Snell gave him the dude, I obviously wasn't trying to do that, my bad. And Harper gave him the I know, man. I know you weren't trying to do that. Which, hey, we're going to probably talk about this when we talk about the Brawl. If you're a pitcher and you throw a ball 90 plus miles per hour near a dude's head, you know what? It doesn't make you less of a competitor if you give a little dude, I'm not trying to do that. Because that's kind of where we're at in society. We can be better. Anyways, a soft Jake coming out.
Oh, man. It's okay. You, Freddie, me, a Top Gun, we're just feeling it.
Hey, at this wedding this week, I get emotional guy. Harper, let's see what the injury news is. Obviously, it's in a tough area. We don't like that. And yeah, if you're the Phillies right now, you are clearly. If you look at the MLB standings, it's pretty funny right now. There's 15 teams above 500. There's 15 teams below 500. The Phillies are currently in the above, and we'll see how they finish going into the All-Star break. We're currently in that kind of, you've got 20 games to finish strong. Think about when who was our team last year? The Mets West Coast trip, or maybe it was the Cubs. The Cubs West Coast trip. We were like, let's see, this is going to be big for them, and it ended up being a collapse. So you got like 3 weeks to the All-Star break. We're going to see who's finishing strong. And maybe, I guess, the positive Philly spin zone. Love Chris Rose coming at you with Acuna. But it would be reshaping the Phillies. If there's no Harper, does that mean Castellanos or Schwarber can DH? And then maybe can you get a good defensive player out there? And you're starting to change what a Phillies game feels like. It's hard you can't replace Bryce Harper. You cannot.
Now we're going to get into the series, people. I kind of want to go into this just a little bit more. Rob Thompson. Now, this is maybe where you see the manager have some influence on the game. Yes. How does he handle the DH position? Is Castellanos going to benefit offensively from not having to be playing in the outfield all the time? Same with Schwarber. I mean, Schwarber, maybe you just keep Schwarber out there because he's been balling offensively. So yeah, it's gonna change everything for them. But yeah, like you said, you're not going to replace that at all. But it could spark some people. Like if Castellanos gets hot, that's what you're going to need. Like you're going to need somebody internally also to step up, along with probably, a guy at the deadline. But let's get into the games.
Yeah.
First game, nice little pitching matchup. Suarez goes 7 1/3 with 2 earned runs. Then Musgrove, like I said, he had no hitter going in the 5th, and then it all kind of crumbled there. 5 in the 6th inning for them. Schwarber had the go-ahead 2-run homer. And then Real Muto hit the 3-run homer. It's like a Oppo line drive off a slider. Are these balls just like, what's up with this? I think this was a day game too. So maybe that had something to do with it, but did not look like a ball that was going to get out, and it did. So Musgrove's day kind of unrattles there. And the Phillies win 6-2. Game 2, Gore looking nasty. 5 shutout innings. This is the Nola game.
Yeah.
Aaron Nola versus Austin Nola. And Little Bro drives in the only run of the game in the 6th inning with an RBI. It was his first hit in 5 career at-bats against Aaron. That's nice. Yeah. I remember the first time I got a hit off my brother, like in wiffle ball, or like when I finally was able to like compete with him a little bit. Nice feeling right there. Probably a little bit different at the big league level, I'd assume.
Not for me. BBD, I do not have a brother. BBD does. He let out a little bit of the brother's groan. Like I think that probably sticks with you guys. Yeah. I remember the first time I was able to out wrestle my sister, and I kind of got my growth spurt, and I just sat on her. Older sister, she bullied me a lot. She used to trick me, a lot smarter than me, higher IQ.
I could see that.
Yeah, I was easy to trick. My mom would call her, send over the list of chores that need to be done, and then she'd just rearrange them and take all the easy ones, and she'd give me all the shit ones. And I didn't even question it. I was just like, okay, mom's mad at me, I guess.
That just sounds like smart management. She was delegating to you. That's great.
She's Rob Thompson. I'm Girardi.
She's Rob. Yeah, you're out, bro.
No, I do think, outside of in these games, you circle it and you say, since Bryce Harper has gone out, do they limp into the All-Star break? Do they pick up steam into the All-Star break? Because they're probably one of those teams. I mean, they obviously want to be buyers. That's why Dombrowski's there. That's why they spent on multiple guys on this team. You gotta keep up the pace. And as long as you can stay above 500, which they have, this series, this is a nice win over the Padres. I've complimented these Padres a lot. This is in San Diego. I know they're missing Machado now, and we'll see what happens over there. But, this Padres team has the fifth best record in baseball. They're a good squad. So this was a nice bounce back from the Phillies, especially after they dropped those 2 weird ones to the Rangers.
Yeah, and they had a chance to sweep in the Nola game. The bases loaded in the 9th, and Shore flied out to deep center, just missed it. Real pissed at himself. But they lose that game 1-0. Eflin, this was the Harper game. Eflin goes 5 innings pitched with 2 earned runs, and actually the 2 earned runs was an Alfaro RBI double on a catchable ball to center. So you kind of hate to see that. Snell goes 5 2/3 with 4 earned runs. The Phillies got the lead in the 5th. Real Muto, another homer for him off of Snell.
Okay.
So they win that one. And then they come back from a tough start in game 4 with Gibson, 2 2/3 innings pitched with 5 earned runs. Schwarber go ahead. Oppo 3-run homer off of Chrismont in the 7th, and he extended his on-base streak to 30 games. How about that?
Okay.
Kind of going off.
Okay.
So Phillies, they got it done.
Get it going, Real Muto, man. His numbers aren't.
Talk about a spark, like
should be.
sometimes something like this happening, put you down, but you got to find a way to just get going. Maybe Real Muto is a guy that just starts to go and steps up for that.
Love that. You want to keep Cronin and keep it East Coast, Mets Fish?
Austin Nola's the older brother?
I believe so. Yes, he came up. He
My
just
bad,
came
chat.
up later.
Appreciate
You're
it.
good. Chat, let's go.
So we said you needed to step up today, and you did it.
Let's go, chat.
So you know what? It's a whole different story now for me. We'll get back into it later.
Okay.
Yeah, let's go Crom Pod. Now we got Mets at Marlins. Kind of a big series here. I like this series. Aesthetically pleasing, even though I don't really like the Marlins uniforms. Somehow these go together. We got 5-3 Mets. They take 2 out of 3. 5-3 Mets in game 1. They kind of get to Alcantara. I told you Lindor had the solo homer. It was his first homer since May 11th that Sandy's given up. It's June 27th. So, okay. Mark Canha added the solo shot. And then there was an interesting play, the double play that wasn't, if you will. Astudillo gets a ball, goes to tag the runner, but he has the ball in his hand, tags him with the glove. Can't do that. And then Marte beats the throw at first. So they thought they had a double play. Both calls get overturned because the umpire called him out at first too. And then Lindor hits a double after that. So 5-3 Mets game 1. Bassett with a strong start in game 2. Alonso with the 2 home runs. And then game 3, 3-2 Marlins. Both pitchers did really well. 7 innings pitched, 2 earned runs apiece for Castano and Peterson. And that was Miggy Rojas, homer, nice in the 3rd, but that was the Nick Fortes walk-off homer in the 9th. Ottavino left the hanger.
Yeah.
Sometimes it gets, usually it's real sweepy. This one didn't sweep.
And no, it's funny if I'm
hanging, you bang it.
If I'm remembering correctly, Trev, wasn't it? It didn't even get back to the plate. It just, I think it would have been an inside ball, but it just hung up there, and Fortes turned on it and cranked one. That's
the one where you kind of, it's like a slow pitch softball swing. You're sitting there, you open up a little bit, you're like, oh, that one's staying right there. And sometimes you take it, but no, Nick's like, nah.
Yeah, I remember.
Like you and Blitzball.
What was that? Wasn't there a big Yuli Gurriel World Series home run where the ball was a foot inside off the plate, but he got it. Those always blow my mind because that's not even the intent. Like that's if that was just a ball, we'd be like, oh, Ottavino doesn't get it in, ball 1. Instead, ding dong, game over.
With a guy like Ottavino, you understand how far his pitch does sweep. Okay. How far it does run laterally. You have to zone it up. You have to tunnel it basically like at your hip or at your butt. So like you're staying in on that pitch. So that helped a little bit there. But you're right. It would have been a ball.
And I mean, for the Mets, we love seeing at this point of the season the top team succeed. Love seeing the top players. I mean, this just looks like to me game 1, Lindor, homer to start it off, and then the big double after the faux double play, and then big old Pete Alonso in the second game. Like I think they released the Shea Station today. They were talking about some of their preseason over-unders and stuff, but man, Alonso 22 homers on the season now. Leading in home runs and RBI still, a 161 OPS plus. We got to get to a Mets game. I'm getting to a Mets game soon.
Yeah.
Like it's pretty
Mets
easy.
Mets are doing it, man. I don't think we give enough credit to the Mets for doing what they've done, with sustaining those injuries. I mean, they have the best pitcher in baseball on their roster, and he hasn't pitched a single inning.
Yeah.
And they're still doing what they're doing. This is when you really take a step back, get some perspective on the entire league. I mean, this is the team that's going to benefit most from somebody coming back.
I think we officially today marks that official point of the season where they are 20 games above 500. They're 5 games up on the NL East. Scherzer's been out for a while, and DeGrom hasn't thrown a pitch this year. And those are 2 guys. If we were doing more sports talk radio and we're talking who are baseball's true aces, like those guys would be on the list.
Yeah.
And
DeGrom's the best pitcher in baseball.
Easily. Like it's one of those, it's not even a conversation. And what Scherzer did, especially the second half of last year and his entire career, if the Mets were 500 right now, I think we'd be saying like, this is fine. Like get your guys back and you might really go. Instead, they're one of the best teams in baseball. Best record in the National League? Yes, sir.
Hey, and Pete Alonso.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's confirmed that he's doing this, but if he wants to, he can just stroll into LA, hit some BP homers, and take home $1 million. Like if he wants to, it's his.
I wouldn't bet against it.
The home run derby king, back to back, right?
I think he's just going for the rest of his days.
I think so too. Like an extra $1 million to go take BP. He's like, sure.
Like there's 20 years from now, there's going to be like the next version of Pete Alonso that's like the next great home run derby king. And like in Gladiator, when they bring out the great retired fighter to fight Maximus, they're going to do that. And it's going to be Pete Alonso versus the future Pete Alonso. Hey, Miggy Rowe home run. Let's go, baby. Awesome.
Let's go, baby.
Awesome episode of the Chris Rose rotation with Miggy Rojas. If you haven't listened to that, you
should. I didn't see this. Marlins DFA'd Astudillo after that.
Yeah, it's tough.
Probably not because of that, but didn't also help his case. Scherzer, we talked about him. He's making a rehab start tomorrow. And then McNeil he sat the whole series, hasn't played in a week with a hamstring. So we'll see what's going on with that. DeGrom, 20 pitches in an inning of live BP.
Okay.
That's nice.
Important to some.
I want to know the stats from that. Where was the velo at? What was the spin at? Come on.
Are we throwing 93 or are we throwing 99?
Someone hack into that. He's got to be at the spring training facility. Someone hack into that track man for us.
If you want to sound off in the comments, if you've hacked off into the trackman.
And we're approaching a year since we last saw DeGrom on the mound. So
wow,
get back soon, please.
It's pretty nuts. It's pretty nuts.
I saw a Jolly tweet.
Jolly Olive.
He brought it up, not me. I brought it up just now.
Should we talk about your high testosterone Giants?
Yeah, Reds at Giants. Reds go in there, take 2 out of 3. Like I said, great fortitude in game 1, 4-2. Ashcraft looking nasty out there. 8 innings pitched. My goodness, with only 2 earned runs. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't really close, I guess. Moustakas and Zenzel had the RBI doubles in the second. And then Yaz gets the Giants within 2 with an RBI single in the 8th. But that was it. Strickland, Case Crawford, like I said, and the game, nasty slider. He likes kind of gross. Like some of these guys, like we're talking about David Robertson, but some of these guys, like they just go through spurts of having their stuff and they can make a difference on a team. I think that's why they get jobs year to year. It's crazy to me. But this first game, the Reds players wore the FAM shirts for the first game back against Jock. That's the story that keeps on giving. I don't know if you saw the clip with Matzik and Tomlin talking to C. Rose about that.
The fantasy football, baseball stuff is Chris Rose's version of porn at this point. Like it's his favorite thing in the world. So I'm just like living vicariously through him because not that I'm over it, but it's Chris Rose's worlds intersecting and he couldn't love it anymore. But
they said Jock stayed in the clubhouse until game time when they faced Tommy Pham last year because he was expecting to get slapped. He didn't even come out for BP because he didn't want that to happen. And then he thought enough time had passed. So he peeked his head out and was like, I'll go out to BP. And Tommy did not let that happen. It's crazy, man.
I hate to do shots fired at Jock. You got to know who you're dealing with there. I think if you go out the first time, Jock Fam feels it out. When you ducked Tommy Pham, now you're getting slapped. I think the fact that Jock skipped out on the first time, that locked it up.
Oh my goodness. Game 2, Webb, outstanding. Last 4 starts, only 3 earned runs and 25 2/3 innings pitched. He's legit and a very nice guy. The Giants just scored all game. Longo, Estrada, Peterson, Flores all hit homers. And then game 3 was all Reds, and it was mainly in the 3rd inning. They scored 7 in the 3rd, and I was telling you, Nick Senzel, he's having so much fun watching the Reds score. He forgot that he was on deck. After they batted around. He said he had nothing on, and if it wasn't for the Giants pitching change, like he would have just been like, oh, and had to go grab all of his stuff when they announced his name. And I think that's pretty funny because you don't expect to bat around. You kind of get caught up. You're cheering for your boys. Maybe you're getting some seeds. You're definitely like going to sneak some water in there. And before you know it, you're up again. It's a good feeling as an offense. So they just went and did it. Ended up winning that game 10-3. Disco Fani, 2 2/3, and he gave up 7 earned runs. 2 tough starts in June. He missed all of May and early June. So he's working his way back. Hopefully things will get better from here. But the Reds take 2 of 3 from the Giants. Crawford placed on the 10-day IL, which sucks. Jonathan India sits game 3, and Stevenson could begin a rehab assignment within a week. So that's good news for the Reds.
Giants are 5th in runs scored this year, which, again, when you look at that offense, it always is a little surprising, but they get a lot out of their guys on that end. The pitching has been a tier below where they thought, and the Discalfani stuff coming off injury, that's got to be a little nervous. Logan Webb has found it, which is huge for them. Rodon has been nails the whole year. We'll see, will one of the Alexes step up? Wood or Cobb? Their bullpen was incredible last year. Their bullpen was 1st in ERA, 1st in WHIP for most of the season. This year, they're, less than middle of the pack, 18th in ERA, 19th in WHIP, 29th in K percentage, 27th in hits per 9. So, my guy Doval is out there. I haven't gotten to see a ton of him this year. Rogers hasn't been as good as he was last year. McGee. So, they have an interesting little stretch coming up. They've got a weird 2-gamer with Detroit. Surrounded by off days. So this time of year, a couple off days, that might not be a bad thing for them. And then the White Sox, which we're going to have to talk about them in a minute, and my snake. So the Giants, one of the teams I'd circle right now. I still have no idea how this team's season ends. If they find the juice again, or if they kind of get separated from Dodgers-Padres.
Yeah, chat's popping off saying don't talk about the Giants because we're hurt and we don't know what's going on. A lot of teams hurt right now. A lot of teams hurt and kind of got to get through it. I think they'll be okay. We've learned to not discredit what the Giants are doing over there. They're able to find depth when other people aren't able to find depth. So we'll see. Yeah,
and you guys know your team better than us. The old Talking Baseball motto. William Luce in the chat. Tyro making a couple errors at short or second where he's in. Darren Ruff in the outfield. We are hurting. Yeah, like Trev said, everyone is. Brandon Crawford, I guess that's one. I'll circle that as well. I know Bryce Harper gets a lot of headlines, but what Brandon Crawford has done for that franchise at the shortstop position, that could be one you feel. That could be one you feel. Hey, and good for you, Reds. Good for you, Reds. After that first month, they have not been as abysmal as they were.
Okay, last series of the NL. Cubs at Cardinals. Cubbies take 2 of 3. Game 1 was the Hendricks story, man. I read the stats in the rundown, but in his career against the Cardinals, 13-3 in 25 starts. He got a 2.69 ERA. Marmol said, you know what? I'm ready for Hendricks to retire. He's sick of him. And you would be too if the guy dealt like that against your team. I mean, he's tough to game plan against. They were talking after the game. They noticed how aggressive the Cardinals are being to his heater. So second time around, more changeups. Third time around, even started throwing the curveball a little more. But There was a picture up on an article I read about this game. His zone, like with all his pitches, spray chart, pitch chart, whatever. What does pitchers call it? Spray
I
chart?
don't know.
Who cares?
Pitch
Starting
chart?
pitchers. Out of the middle of the zone on the peripherals. I love that. You start to do that as a pitcher. I mean, that's what he does. I mean, he can command, he can present things as strikes, make them fall out of the zone and vice versa. But he did it. And Palante, not so bad. 16 pitch, 3 earned runs. So that's I like that for the Cardinals, man. I like what this guy's become. Nico Horner had the go-ahead 2-run homer in the second. Cubs 3-0 game 1, 5-3 Cardinals game 2. Michaelis looks really good. 16 pitch, 1 earned run. And Ivan Herrera, he had the go-ahead sac fly in the 8th, Jake. First career RBI. Still hasn't had a hit yet. So you get the RBI, go-ahead sac fly, no hit yet. Ortega had the game-tying 2-run home run in the top half for the Cubs. 5-3 Cardinals in that one, and then 6-5 Cubs game 3. Mills, not a hot start for him. 2 2/3 innings pitched, 5 earned runs, and in Flaherty, 2 shutout innings before exiting with the injury. I texted him and said, "What's up, bro? You all right?" He said it's preventative. Just got a little stiff out there. So hopefully that is all it is. And then Contreras go-ahead single in the 10th after a game-tying 2-run single in the 4th, putting the team on his back. Cubs take the series 2 out of 3.
A couple first RBI. Is that a baseball you keep?
Sure.
Okay. You've got that?
Yeah. I don't think I have.
Okay.
I don't know, man. I don't know where a lot of my stuff is.
You do the ball wave and you just, okay.
Someone writes on it for you. They put it in a plastic bag, and then you probably send it to your parents, or it's in the box at your house.
You probably give it to Matt Stafford or something like that. Appreciate our friendship. Yeah. Cubbies, man, this was a team we drove the stake in super hard. I'm not saying the stake is out of them. Nico Horner, how about him? His last original compound member, by the way, the compound. His last 100 games of baseball now, he's got a positive OPS plus. He's hitting around 300. I like the way he plays defense. I don't know if that's I've only seen small samples of him, but Cubs, you might have found a 25-year-old shortstop, fellow Stanford man like yourself, Trev. We like that. And yeah, I mean, the Flaherty stuff obviously sucks, but, you love to hear preventative, and it is still June, and the Cardinals are a team that's hoping to have bigger plans as the year goes on. Cubbies, can they be a team we talk about? No, you're 28-45. That's tough, man. They're still behind the Pirates. Anything else?
It's kind of it, baby. I think we're ready for the AL.
Let's do some American League Baseball.
You're double dipping, aren't you?
You know I am. I kind of always am. It's kind of my life. We are starting off in BBD's New York City. The Yankees hosted the Astros. 4 games. It opens up the 3-run homer game. We've got 4 3-run homers, 2 from each side, capitalized by Aaron Hicks, tying the game in the 9th. Get off me. God damn. Yankees, Aaron Judge walks it off later that inning off the Pirate, Ryan Stanek. Presley before him, but Stanek's the last one out there. And here comes Houston, Justin Verlander. 7 innings pitched, 1 earned run. Color me shocked. Him and Sevy, they each only gave up 1 ding-dong, but Sevy's was 3 runs. Verlander's was solo. And then Houston no-hits the Yankees. Christian Javier, watch some of those highlights. He looked nasty. He outduels Cole, who gets clipped by J.J. Matichevich, our guy. Cole, knees bend, hates it. Yankees, they get no hit the next day for the next 5 innings. Is it panic time? The Yankees playing their first team, their first competition of the season, and what do? They come back. Stanton hits the homer to stop their no-hit ways. DJ LeMahieu with the game-tying homer, and here's big Aaron Judge again, and we're walking off. We split 4 in the Bronx, and these 2 teams are on a collision course for October. Speaking of a team getting in the October mix, I love that dirty water. Boston, you're my home. The Sox sweep Chris Rose's Guardians. How about it? The Red Sox mash all series. Devers, Doogie, Jaron Duran is doing it. Full pension Piv dropped it in the first game. Arroyo, first game back off the IL with the big 2-run homer. Doogie has the big homer in the next game. These Sox winners of 7 straight games and 7 straight series. Are we having fun this summer in the Bean, baby? We'll talk about that. Speaking of a place we're not having fun, your Chicago White Sox. They lose 3 out of 4 to the Orioles. Oh my God. Fire Tony? I don't know. The White Sox don't hit the first 3 games, basically. God, and these Orioles, they're pesky. Rushman hits his second home run in the first game. Orioles scoring a wild pitch and a balk in the second game. And then Austin Hayes, he opens it up in that game. And the third game, Dylan Cease has to shove on the final day for the White Sox to get out of there. And they almost didn't. The Orioles scored 2 in the ninth, and they left runners on first and third in the final game. White Sox are doing their best to survive, and it ain't a pretty picture, donkey. Whoa, Little Shrek, it's not our final series. We're going to talk about this one a lot, so I'll be quick. Mariners take 2 out of 3 from the Angels. The Angels salvage on the final day. You might have seen other stuff from this game, like a massive brawl. Earlier on, Trout did his thing, as he always does against Seattle, but it wasn't enough. The Mariners won the first 2 games. Trout was mad after the second game, and he got buzzed, and we saw all of that empty out on the final day. We'll dive into that after we cover the Oakland Athletics taking 2 out of 3 from the Royals, baby. Swervin' Irvin versus Greinke in game 1, pumping into my veins. Greinke drops it, 6 innings, one earned, and we got another good Greinke story this weekend. He's a ridiculous creature. The mother's favorite, Michael A. Taylor, with a big 3-run homer. And then our guy, Cap, he goes 5.13. Nick Allen with the go-ahead 2-run single in the final game. A's take 2 out of 3, and that's what happened in your American League. I'll snap for myself. You think I won't?
You're incredible. Swervin' Irvin, Zach Greinke, what a matchup.
A lot of...
Put those 2 in a room together, see what happens. I don't know.
Oh, snap. That was lit.
I think you get an old traditional hog off. The Yankees are 11 games up on the Boston Red Sox, who are second in the American League East. The Rays and the Jays are tied at 40 and 32 for third and fourth place, with the Baltimore Orioles 34 and 40. I mentioned their record because they have the same record as the Seattle Mariners. We'll get out west. Plouffe, your Twins are still leading the Central. They're up 2 games on the Guard Dogs. White Sox are 5.5 games back, 34 and 37. Tigers and Royals still DED dead. The Houston Astros have a 10.5 game lead on the Texas Rangers, who are 34 and 37. Same record as the White Sox. Halos are 35 and 40. Mariners 34 and 40. And the A's are bringing up the rear, 21 games back. Trev, you need me to bring you somewhere? You want to cron pod this trick?
I'm looking at the standings right now.
Yeah.
Orioles, same record as Seattle. And like you just said, White Sox, Rangers, same record. What did A-Rod famously say one day on a broadcast?
Baseball.
Yeah.
Baseball.
Let's go cron pod. I want to hear. I know you were at some of these games. Yankees, Astros. I talked with C. Rosie about it today. I mean, we need this in October. I mean, the storylines from this game, whether it be, how many innings was it? Was it 0 for how many people?
The Yankees no hit. I think it was 16 innings.
16 innings.
Yeah.
Like 52 at bats or something like that.
I believe they were 0 for 52 or 53 for a stretch.
The change of emotion during that time, because we see Joe's, everyone's favorite New Yorker, covering New York sports teams for the New Yorkers.
Yes.
Whatever that is. talking about will the Yankees ever get a hit again? And then boom, it's Stanton, it's LeMahieu, it's Judge. You have to feel pretty good if you're an Astros fan. I know you wanted to take that game there, but your starting pitching did incredible. You got the no-hitter in Yankee Stadium, and you can hang your hat on that. But this is a matchup that's destined for the playoffs, and like, look out, man. I mean, as entertaining as it gets on a baseball field.
Trev, you know I love sports. I love the concept of sports. I love what the Nationals did in 2019. A team that kind of didn't seem like it was their year, and it became their year. That's sports. That's what it's all about. These two teams are going to meet up in the playoffs. There's no way they don't. It's just a matter if it's a DS or a CS. And I'm normally not that guy. But these two teams, the Astros are stacked. They're loaded. The top 2/3 of their lineup: Altuve, Brantley, Bregman, Alvarez, Tucker, Gurriel, Pena. Never mind if they get something. They've been throwing Myers in the outfield. We'll see. Always an interesting team at the deadline, but that lineup is just, if you don't have your A stuff that day, you might not get through twice. And Jameson Taillon saw that in the first game. He didn't have his best stuff. He got worked for 6 runs. Their starting pitching: Verlander, Garcia, Javier, Urquidy, Framber, our guy. And I think this is a little hot takey. And Houston, you guys always sound off in the comments. They are currently first in bullpen ERA. On the fear meter when I'm playing Houston, I know he's your guy. I don't want to be shots fired. Presley, he's not one of the scarier closers you're going to see.
Well, he's had a tough go against the Yankees. Everybody else is terrified of that.
And that's what I'm saying. And that's where Ryan Stanek, who's been incredible this year, the Yankees have seen him now in Tampa and Houston, and they've had some successes off of him. Neris, the Yankees have gotten to him a couple times previously. So I guess it is from a Yankees standpoint. If there's something that I look at this Houston team, and maybe this is the ultimate compliment to Houston. When I look at this Houston team, I see their weakness as their bullpen, and it's currently the best ERA in baseball. So that's how good this team is, man. And the Yankees, I don't think the Yankees gave Houston their best punch this weekend. They still found a way to survive at home. 4-game set, the bread of the series, 2 walk-offs. Those were the only time the Yankees had the lead in this series were after the 2 walk-offs. Houston kind of dominated them. But I do think the Yankees, Javier looked incredible. That's a special day, man, when you go 13 Ks against a lineup that had been arguably the best in baseball. He was dialed. There's not much you can do there. The next day against Urquidy is definitely, you're feeling it in your legs a little bit. We don't have that hit. How long is this going to go? And once it cracked, it was like, okay, so now are they really going to do this? And they did. Man. So, Jimmy and I think we talked about it with you last series. We kind of love the beauty of a 4-gamer when you walk away 2-2, and especially these teams, man, because it just seems like they are on a collision course for part 3, part 4, or whatever it's going to be. And I don't know how it ends. Interested to see, man, both of these teams around the deadline. What do you do? Because you've got great teams. So what kind of moves do you really make? If these two teams link up in October, it's going to be, I think, some of the best baseball we've watched in a little bit.
We can only hope for it, man.
Because
they're just storylines, and it's the 2 best teams in baseball right now.
There's some genuine venom there, which we don't always get in sports these days. Because some people complain about the NBA because all these guys grow up playing AAU and stuff together. That after a series they're buddies. Remember the original banana boat picture? And everyone was like, what? These guys have some actual bad blood that if we can get 7 in October, my goodness. Judge, is incredible. I can't hammer that home enough.
He's incredible.
He's your current AL MVP. Although Trouty's starting to go nut job again. Brantley left a little shoulder discomfort. Glaber had an ankle thing that happened in a huge play of the game.
Did he really have an ankle thing, or was it an embarrassment? I think he
fell. I think it's one of those things you're laying on the ground and you know it's over. You might as well make sure you
get credit for
check your ankle, then try to scramble back to the bag and still be out.
We watched it, and I believe it.
I don't know.
Rolled it pretty good.
He rolled his ankle.
He rolled it, was maybe scared a little bit.
If it was playoffs, I think he'd be starting today. That's what I'll say. You know?
We might have got more dramatic response as well. He might have been crying out there just to really sell it, and then came back. Boom. That's a storyline, people. I wanted to say this about this series. It was an excellent series. I mean, it really did have it all. For people that say, oh, we don't want to see baseball in its current form with 3-run homers, just waiting for the homer. Yeah, basically, this was incredible, dude. Like, I think that's not necessarily the only way these teams can score, but when you go through their lineups, I mean, 7 guys in both the starting lineups can just hit you homers at any given point. And that makes for some crazy baseball, makes for some crazy comebacks. You know, doesn't matter if you're down 3-4 runs. You're facing the Yankees. You're facing Jordan in the middle of that lineup. I mean, you're not out of a game.
Mike King at the end of this game in extra innings, bases loaded.
Oh,
he gets nasty on him. What he's been doing this year is crazy. And yeah, Hicks's resurgence, it's changed a lot of things about the Yankees. What are they going to do at the deadline? Is Gallo on his last legs with the Yankees? We had a pretty flames emoji episode of Talkin' Yanks last night if you're looking for more baseball today. Or just watch baseball today. Double ad right there. That's how you do it, people. Ooh. Trev, some people that may not check in on Talkin' Yanks would be our friends up in Boston. 7 straight games.
Yes.
7 straight series. The Guardians, who briefly climbed atop the AL Central. And the Red Sox do it, man, and they get semi-late game heroics. Arroyo with the go-ahead 2-run homer. Verdugo in the 6th inning with that. They get a nice start from Dick Mountain in this one. They're getting more than enough from their pitching. Actually, nice stuff from the Red Sox pitching. For me, Trev, I said this last episode. Maybe I'll stop saying it. Team identity. I think these guys are back to mashing. First in batting average, 3rd in on base. Verdugo, you might hear more about him later. A little teaser.
Okay.
He's really gotten it going for them. The Sox have the 3rd best record in the American League. This was a team we were like, are they going to end up selling? And here they are, man.
7 in a row, 19-4 this month. Now, they've only picked up a half of a game on the Yankees, but I don't think that – obviously, they'd want to pick up more, but I don't think they care too much about that because, like you said, they got the first wild card going on right now. Not too long ago, we were talking about are they going to be sellers. I think they were sitting 5-6 games under 500. I don't know what their low was, but I definitely saw that. We said they'd go how the starting pitching's gone. Starting pitching's been good. Pavetta's been lights out. I watched a little bit of that Rich Hill start. He's just grunting, throwing heaters by people, then flipping up that curveball. Some of them coming back towards the back foot. Some of them that he was throwing against the Guardians on this day were going like reverse, like spinning so much they like started going into the left-handed batter's box, which I don't know if he manipulates that pitch to do that, but you can't hit that as a righty. You're expecting the ball to come towards you, and it's like almost seemingly going either straight down or the other way. So they're getting some good pitching efforts. They get the sweep, and they're sitting pretty now. And now we're looking, what are they going to add? I'm not talking about them being buyers anymore. What are they going to add? You know, Story. I said this with C-Rose today. Overall numbers, when you look at them, they're okay. Got the OPS over 7 now, but he's banging with runners in scoring position. The guy's got 50 RBIs already. So like you're happy with the production value, and then you understand it's going to come. More hits are going to fall for him too. So yeah, this team can bang, and I mean, I wouldn't want to face him in the playoffs.
Trev, I had the same conversation this morning where as a deadline team, they have now entered kind of a whoa part of my brain where I think the third best team in the American League is up for grabs. And the Red Sox, they're currently in it, and they can make some moves, man. Like they're, Bobby Dahlbeck, Franchi Cordero are getting some run for them. Casas is a big prospect for them. I know he recently got hurt, but is he a potential trade guy or a call guy? I don't know. The Red Sox can go a lot of different ways with this. That almost makes it a little more scary. They're not a complete team. They've totally recovered from their bad start. They're playing a better brand of baseball, and they could still sprinkle a little bit. I know, their first base position, Josh Bell, BBD mentioned that earlier. Is that something that fits? And if they had another bat to this lineup, like this team has an identity. We can out-hit you, and they've been out-pitching a lot of people this year. So,
Awesome.
Oh,
One of their first base options, not an option anymore, Carlos Santana to the Mariners.
wow. How about it?
Jerry DePoto.
Poto season.
Does that guy love the trade, or does that guy love the trade?
That
baby?
guy loves to trade, and I love it. Why not? The Royals, they start their
Okay, June 27th. I like
sale.
it.
Okay. Guardians, tough.
Are they expecting to be without players for a long time because of the brawl? Like, got to get somebody in here,
maybe that'll help.
right? Could be
Just a brawl rental. Just
a brawl rental.
Just a brawl rental for
all right.
Carlos Santana.
You know what? Go off, Carlos Santana. I enjoy watching you hit.
I like him too. Guardians, sorry, you get swept. Jimenez had a good series. He's had a really good year now. You might hear about that all JM team in a week or two. I don't know. Try to shrug and move on and say the Red Sox are a hot team, but AL Central.
Well, C. Rose, our resident Guardians expert, saying they got a ton of guys in the 40-man, kind of a logjam. Like they're in a position to go move some of those guys. So
for what?
That's kind of what happens when you get a lot of your 40-man guys kind of at the top of your organization. Like you have to make decisions. There's timing. Like how many options does this guy have? Like how much control do we have left? And they go out and make some moves. Okay. I'm so excited for this trade deadline because I feel like there's a lot of teams ready to go and not a lot of inventory out there. Like we've had some major injuries to some major players, and there's just not a lot out there.
Yeah. Prove me wrong, Guardians front office.
Go Red Sox, man. I like that. I like the whole storyline, like shark in the water, man, just following closely behind. All year, nobody's talking about the Red Sox. They got off to a bad start. And then the Yankees are so fucking good. Nobody talks about the Red Sox. Boom. They come in, fighting the whole year, punch you in the mouth in the wild card, and then go on a run. It's a good storyline. It plays. We've seen it before.
They've been really good since Alex Cora shaved his beard. Yeah, man, and that's Red Sox fans, you may hate this, but Red Sox fan, this is what they stew in. Like a dominant Yankees team, like you said, the Red Sox were kind of written off a little bit, and now we're here, and they still have a lot of games with the Yankees. I mean, a lot of stuff would have to change. Like you said, the Red Sox are on an 18-4 June, and they've gained one game. Half a game. So a lot would have to happen to make that a full-blown storyline. But, hey, Red Sox, the number one wildcard team in the AL right now. Trevor, team that is currently not in the playoffs, the Chicago White Sox.
Oh.
3 out of 4 to the Orioles. And
Orioles are hot.
And the Orioles almost took the last one too late, man. I don't know. I don't know. There's so much talent on this team that as a baseball guy, you keep just falling back on the like, it'll happen. This is how baseball goes sometimes. Look at the Braves last year. I don't know, man. I'm starting to talk myself out of it, dude, because this feels like every episode.
It does. We've been waiting for the push. I mean, yeah, they've had injuries, but I just said this. Who did I just say this to? Giants fans.
Yeah.
Everybody's hurt. I don't know why everyone's hurt. It seems like more guys are hurt now than ever. I don't like that at all. But yeah, they just haven't turned it on yet. If their offense gets going, their starting pitching is off. If their starting pitching is on, their offense isn't going. They just haven't lined up at all. Sometimes you see that for teams like throughout a year, and that's what they have to hope for. We get everything, get guys healthy, and we get our both sides of the ball lined up at any given time. There's like crazy reports coming out. Like this is almost like the new Mets team, if you will. A report out about how they don't want, there's like 4 guys who they just really want to take it easy out of the box because they've had so many soft tissue injuries. That seems like you probably just don't want to say that in the media. Like, just if you really wanted to do that, just have the guys do it. Because now you get guys like me being like, why? What's going on there? Like, the training staff needs to figure some stuff out. Like, that doesn't seem like a way to claw back. Like, maybe if you're up like the Yankees and you got an 11-game lead, you can start to talk like that. But, like, you kind of need some hustle out of these guys. I understand you want to keep them on the field, but, like, I don't know, man. That's a big difference as an infielder. Guys aren't going to bust out the box. Like, the pressure's not on you. Like, I think it affects the game a lot. Just teams knowing that.
Yeah, right? Like, we were tough on our Yankees the past couple years. And some of that was why. Like, they put an emphasis on we're big boppers. That's how we win. Like, at certain points, there was only 1 or 2 guys on the Yankees that, like, almost had permission to bust it out of the box, which you're playing baseball at a disadvantage. Speed is a part of the game. That's why you're seeing it come back a lot more. White Sox fans, sound off in the comments if there's something else we're missing. Something that does need to be said, the Baltimore Orioles, I know we don't spend a lot of time on the Birds because they're in a brutal division for them to be in. Their bullpen, they had a great series, and they're having a solid year. They're 4th in reliever ERA. The Baltimore,
you got some guys out there, yep.
The Baltimore Orioles. Let's give them some love. Jorge Lopez, Felix Bautista, Dylan Tate, our guy Ciano Perez, Kreibel has been thrown a little bit. That is what's different from this Orioles team to previous Orioles team. Even if the Orioles kind of jumped you and they were up 5-1 in the 3rd inning, you kind of still thought you were going to win that game. You're like, these Orioles are going to still have to string together 7 more innings. We can do this. They've got some guys in the bullpen. Again, the top 6 in their lineup will impress you. Mullins, Mancini, Santander, Hayes, Mountcastle, Rushman. Like, I was really tough on the Orioles to start the season. They've definitely proved me wrong, and I'm in a genuine way like excited for them. They still got 3 guys in AAA that should be up in the next year or so. Like, we might be starting to see the beginning of it in Baltimore.
Quick fix for the White Sox: get Giolito and Lynn going. That could help you a lot. And I know Lynn's only had 3 starts on the year. They haven't been too good. If he finds his form, obviously that helps. Giolito also, he's had a couple of really tough games. He's had, I think, a 7 earned run and an 8 earned run game. So that inflates the numbers a little bit, but I'll bet you he'd tell you he could pitch better. So that's one thing they could do, get the guys healthy. I mean, I'm still holding on belief with the White Sox here. I'm still holding out. I want to see a team get back to full strength, see if they can hit that stride like I'm talking about where they're both matching up. And I mean, the extra playoff spot keeps them in it.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. They
but like same record as the Orioles. Oh no, the Rangers, excuse me.
The Rangers. If they can right the ship and get in the playoffs, that makes the playoff bracket look pretty interesting. But right now they're just not there.
Is it fair to say that about them and not these other teams? Like, is it fair to say, oh yeah, the White Sox, they have a better chance of coming out of it than these other teams? I don't know if it is at this point.
I mean, it comes back to the talent that we think these guys have, especially in the rotation, man. I like that. That's my caveat right now with the White Sox, because their lineup doesn't look that crazy compared to a lot of other lineups right now. Their starting rotation can still take them to a different level than a lot of other teams. If they can start passing the baton and they have a 2-week stretch where those guys are giving you 7 innings, 6 innings, 8 innings, Like, that's where they can be different and they can kind of flip the script on all of this. You need to see it to believe it at this point. And Trev, I know people might be surprised, but like, firing Tony, I don't know. It seems like a button that would be pretty easy to press if you wanted to. But
they could definitely. I mean, there's been the fire Tony chance at the yard. I don't know how much weight that carries. I don't know. I mean, I think if you're a White Sox fan, you have to be happy with Cease and Kopech. I mean, they've been your stoppers. Really, when Giolito and Lynn are gonna be your stoppers, and Cease and Kopech were like, okay, like what are we gonna get out of these guys going into the season? They've been incredible. So I'm banking on that starting pitching to come around. I'm banking on that offense to do it. I'm banking on them to be able to run at full strength at some point this year, I hope. I don't know, man. They're tough to talk about because you go over our TPP, we gushed about this team.
Yeah. They seemed like
about this team.
They seemed like they had the easiest path to 100 wins.
Just has not happened at all. I mean, at all.
Talk about another interesting deadline team. Boogity. Dylan Cease, you mentioned him at the end. He had an incredible start on the last day to help get them the win. Trev, here's a big one. Mariners, Angels. Angels are now 35-40. The Mariners are 34-40. It's the reason our guy is not here right now. A real baseball brawl. A lot of pushing and shoving. There's pizza involved. There's a little girl involved. There's Phil Nevin. There's a J.P. Crawford, the Adam Frazier trade, Shohei, Trout. Raisel Iglesias is tossing sunflower seeds onto the field. We've got bubblegum. Trev, I will kick it to you, man. The only thing that I will tee up more than this is that this is the seventh time these teams, or the eighth time these teams have played in about a week and a half.
Yes.
Phil Nevin brought that up, although Phil might have a little blame in this whole thing.
Oh, my God. There's so many layers to it. That's why it's taken James so long to do this thing. Yes, you can talk about, I think that really needs to be mentioned, is how often they've played in the last 11 days. It was like 8 games in 11 days or something like that, right?
Yeah.
I don't care who you are. Like, you're going to get sick of seeing the other team on the other side. Especially there is a little bit of the hit by pitch history with Lorenzen going and hitting Upton. He said it was a slick balls, which I agree with him. Like, some of these balls they are slick. You're seeing it, man. I think that's what happened with Snell too. A little bit of history there. Trout gets thrown up and in, which is kind of where you have to pitch him. And you got to know that if you're Trout, but he didn't like where it was at. He told the pitcher, if you can't throw up and in and control it, don't be throwing up and in. And then are we even going to talk about the games, or you just want to go straight into the brawl?
I mean, it's brawl right now because I think, it ties into the series a little bit, and more so where these teams are just standing right now.
Well, start with the fact that the Angels announced an opener right before game time, basically. The guy showed up to the field and found out that he was going to be the opener. Okay, you got a perfectly healthy starter there ready to go. You have an opener. Now, maybe there's a reason. I haven't heard a reason, but maybe there is one. But that gets it started off. Julio Rodriguez gets one thrown behind him. Okay? Then, I've said this before. If you wanted to take your shot, you took your shot.
Right.
I think Winker felt the same way. He gets one in the hip. And there was the words exchanged between him and Nevin. I don't know what was said. Maybe old James is going to figure that out. I know they had a talking to when the scrum was happening. He was in his face. But at the beginning, Winker was walking. Then he heard something, started walking towards the dugout. Then it just went nuts. I mean, Anthony Rendon comes out with the cast. By the way, massive fine for you, buddy. Can't go on the field when you're on the IL. Can't be smacking people in the face.
Yeah, they hate
it. Just went. It was a melee. It was a real. This was a word I learned in high school. It's a Donnybrook, a knockdown, drag out brawl. You don't see too many of these. JP Crawford, our guy, swinging over the top. I texted Tyler Wade. I said, bro, what the fuck happened? And he said, it was just baseball. You know how it goes. Like, there was some animosity, He's like, yeah, me and Duffy had to hold JP back. Then there was this great video. It was on our socials. They really showed like Wade back there. Then Wade got back into the scrum. Drew Butera was in the fight as well. So a lot of people were in there. I don't know, man. A lot of suspensions are coming from this. Cervais was on the freaking mound or on the ground at some point. Like, it was a lot.
Yeah, Phil Nevin, former Yankees third base coach, has the manager's job now that Joe Madden got relieved of his duties. Phil Nevin is, sometimes we talk about, testosterone and being a man. Like, that's Phil Nevin, and I think that tied into old school baseball mentality to kids showing up at the ballpark. You're getting the pill and the mood is tense. I don't know, man. I don't know. As someone who I just sat up here and said Snell hits Harper and he apologizes, that is a part of the game we truly need to get rid of. Like, we're advanced as a society from that, and we wear helmets. Like, we're trying to be better than that. That it's a tough look, and man, like you said, it's a full-blown melee brawl that you don't see a lot of those on the MLB field. Different when the different fires start popping up in different parts of the fight. That's always chaotic. And on the baseball side, as we circle back to that, because everything else, our guy Jimmy will have in the breakdown coming up soon. Both of these teams are also looking for a rallying cry. Let's be honest. We talk about it, whether it's, firing managers or getting into a brawl. Teams are looking for something to point to and rally around. And both of these teams, the Angels win the final game to jump them in the standings, 35-40, while the Mariners are 34-40. We've got about 20 games or so till the All-Star break. Both of these teams, the Angels felt a taste of success this season and then fell off hard. The Mariners have been waiting for a go switch all year. They did win 5 in a row before losing Sunday's game. Both teams are pointing at this as their rallying cry. And again, it's a weird way to place a bet because they wouldn't let me place this bet, DraftKings.
Okay.
Like, I do think one of these teams is going to go. And I don't know which one. I don't know if it's the Mariners who, if they start their winning ways, can kind of be like, finally, we've been waiting for this. The brawl, Carlos Santana's here now. Let's go. Or if the Angels, who, like I said, they already tasted a little bit of winning earlier this year, if they get back to it and they're like, we've got 2 MVPs, this team is together, let's go. I don't know. I think one of them does. I think one of them, the wheels come off even harder, which, looking at you, Halos. So,
I mean, yeah, you get the rallying cry. You lose Ty France, which is a massive blow to the Mariners. Probably what got Carlos Santana on the radar there. That's tough. Because, the season he was having, you're saying you need to pick it up and you got to go, and this is going to be that spark. Now you got to do it without your best hitter on the year. So hopefully he's on the 10. Is a grade 2 flexure strain in the left forearm. So wishing him speedy recovery. I don't know, man. Someone in the chat brought this up, and I want to go back to the brawl a little bit because it's so fascinating to me. Do you think if Trout didn't say that to the media, that Nevin would have done that, start the opener and basically call for someone to get hit? Because if you're Nevin, and your best player on the planet, Mike Trout, is saying this stuff, do you feel like you have to protect him?
First-time manager, trying to get something under your team. It's not out of it's not out of the realm at all, right? I wouldn't put this on Trout. I think there's a lot.
I thought you did. I thought that's what you said.
That's actually the quote. If people could run with that. Excited to see the breakdown. Jama's putting a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into it. I know there was a lot of baseball played in this series too, but dude, we've got the girl in the stands, our Reds fan. What's her name? I just saw it.
What's it, Ann?
Is it Annie? Abigail. She was the girl that was excited to see Joey. Huge Reds fan. She was excited to see Joey Votto play. He gets tossed in the first. She comes to see one of her favorites, Jesse Winker, and Eugenio Suarez, former Reds, in this game, and they get tossed. Awesome article from The Athletic that shows...
Stephen Nesbitt, shout out.
I mean,
friend of the pod.
Some of the highs and lows of society that went into a pizza being delivered to Jesse Winker at the game after he got ejected. The mother of Abigail talking about how her daughter was sad, but explaining how emotional life can be. It's like, whoa, there's a lot going on here. To the delivery driver that delivered the pizza to the game.
Best part of the whole story.
Now he's getting Venmos from people for him just being a good dude. I mean, the depths and layers from every angles of this before even getting to the baseball is unreal, man.
This or the fantasy football story, I don't know which one's better. They're both going to continue to give. We're just scratching the surface of this brawl and everything that's going on. Who knows how much money the guy's been tipped so far? I think they put the Venmo out on Twitter and he said he had over 300 people donating already to him.
Yeah. And that was
that's gone up.
That was before. That was when The Athletic wrote the article. So I assume once that got out, I was on the pooper thinking about donating.
You haven't yet? I did.
Whoops. Let's see. How much did you make playing baseball again?
Hey, by the way, look, we want to sit and talk about this all day long, but James is gonna have it on the breakdown. Let's move on to some baseball. We still have a lot to cover, bro.
Yeah, we do.
Now.
We'll do this quick because the Royals just fully admitted they're selling. A's took 2 out of 3. Like you said, Greinke Irvin, I mean, personalities and sex-wise is electric. Michael A. Taylor, potential trade guy. He hits a 3-run homer. I think...
Shout out Edward Olivares, 2 first career home runs.
Not his first career.
First to take the 1-0 lead.
Not his first career. That was his first of the season. That was an error.
Oh,
yeah.
No.
Yeah.
You put it on the sheet. I read it like
I didn't put that
Anchorman.
I know. I talked to our
Holy
people
shit.
about that. Yeah. So yeah, I know James Caprillian's a huge person and we like him. That's nice. These teams, hey guys, we're running today. Huge topics in baseball. Know that we love your franchises and we'll be talking about them a lot at the trade deadline. That's the good news. Swervin' Irvin. Let's do the Interleague.
You got 5 series in the Interleague, baby.
We're going tight. We're going tight.
Tight.
Speaking of tight, Trev's Milwaukee Brewers, they take 2 out of 3 from the Blue Jays. Started calling the Blue Jays out, tried to let everyone know. Brewers take the final 2 games after dropping the first one on a Manoah day, but they ran into that Corbin Burns guy game too. The Blue Jays starters got lit up. Barrios. Oh my goodness. Kikuchi. Only 2 innings, only 2 earned from some errors, but damn, dude, they put up some big numbers early on in this series as the Brewers take 2 out of 3 from the Blue Jays. Twins take 2 out of 3 from the Rocks. Kelsey Wingert's Rockies. Marquez with a big start, 7.2 shutty. Happy for you, kid. Meanwhile, the second 2 games, the Twins bounce back. Buck Daddy with the triple. Your guy Archer, Trev. Let's go. And then the Twins take the final game. The biggest news out of this series, the Twins pitching coach leaves for LSU. We'll talk about that a little bit. My goodness.
A lot of non-baseball stories.
Crazy weekend for baseball. That's why we're talking about it. The Rays sweep the Pirates, and that's obvious, kind of. The Pirates have been better than we normally think of them in our head. Isaac Paredes is going nut job. He keeps it rolling from the Yankee series. It with Ramirez. That's a deep Dark Knight reference. He walked off the first game. Paredes walked off the second game. And then the Rays, Roansy Contreras versus McClanahan. That's a sneaky fun one in the final day. Rays win that. Nats, Rangers. Nats take 2 out of 3 from the Texas Rangers. Dane Dunning in the first game. No idea how he was throwing. Josh Bell with the big go-ahead RBI. Will he be traded? Garcia, big home run in the second game. Nats were up 6-0 through the first 7. Rangers scared them in the final game, but Nats take 2 out of 3. And then the Tigers, they take 2 out of 3 from my Snakes. Just bullshit umpiring. Snakes should have swept them. Go Tigers, I guess. Cody Clemens, first career home run. Riley Green's playing. Javi Baez with a grand slam. Is he back? Keuchel debut. And that's what happened in interleague baseball this freakend.
I need to tell you something.
Tell me something.
This might be the worst timing in the history to do this, but my beautiful daughter Isla is back here with me today, and she is yelling at me to take her to get some food, and she will not stop.
Go get a little food. I can bring us through this.
Give me 90 seconds, yeah.
Go get a little food. Everyone.
Say hi?
Isla's got to say, okay. Isla hates saying hi to me unless I'm with Noodle.
Yeah. Only Noodle. BRB.
Big Noodle fan.
Chat, help us out. Help us out, chat.
I will kind of burn through this. Guys, we are, holy smokes, we're like a $1.25, so this might be a tight IL. Sorry if you're an IL team. I'll check some boxes quick. Tigers-DBacks. You guys know I love the D-backs. I love them. This is a little bit of a gross series. These are 2 trade deadline teams and not 2 teams I think we're going to be talking about competing for really anything. Good to see Baez. He's starting to get some hits going after his just atrocious start to the season. Like I said, we love anyone's first home run, especially when it's Roger Clemens' kid, Cody. Riley Green making a nice catch out there. So Tiger fans, you got a little something to chew on. D-backs in that final game. They have a big 5-run 6th inning to come back. Keuchel made his debut, 4.1 for Ernie. Him linked up with his old pitching coach from Houston. So that's a fun story. I don't think we can really dive there. Nationals, Rangers, we love you. We were just happy you took those 2 games against the Phillies. Rangers, if you want us to talk about you more, we can't be losing 2 out of 3 to the Nationals. And I'll give us a reason to be mad at the Rangers. Our guy Taylor Hearn, 4 shutty, and then he gets sent down after the game. What are you doing, Rangers? That's my friend. And he's good.
What are you doing, Rangers? If you are a Rangers fan looking for the silver lining, they were down 6-0 through the 7th in the last game, and they did come back to put a scare in them. So a little heart in the lineup.
Get out of here,
They're
Rangers.
taking the heart out of the pitching staff.
Be nice to my friend. A nice start by Dane Dunning, another good friend. John Gray, 7 innings to Ernie's. Yeah, Rangers, I want to talk about you guys more, but if you're losing series to the Nats, I can't because it's almost trade o'clock down there as well. Rays swept the Pirates. Told you about this a little bit. They take the first one in extras. Harold Ramirez with the walk-off. Rays, they kind of needed a sweep. They'd been middling for a little bit. The Sox caught up to them. Good for them. They take care of their business. And Isaac Paredes, I think you're going to hear more about him later. He is a guy that it might have just clicked because he's going insane. Maybe an Fuego type day for Isaac Paredes. And if you're looking for a good highlight to watch, the Randy Arozarena swim move slide.
I was just going to ask if you saw that.
That's about as good as a swim move as you'll see on a baseball field.
Dead in the water. Swam around.
Yeah, it was a beauty. Our guy Bly Madras, love that name. He's doing some things with O'Neal Cruz, so you're still a fun watch. Pittsburgh
was doing some digging on. Rays fans are a little tepid about Randy. He goes. He likes to run, which isn't a bad quality, but he could pick his spots a little better. If we had a show called Talkin' Rays,
right,
this Sharp Stats segment, I think we would have one.
We're thinking about it. Might host. Rockies-Twins. The Rockies take game one in a pitcher's duel. The only run scored was Charlie Blackmon beating out a double play in the sixth off my guy Dylan Bundy. Whoops. Marquez, 7.2 shut. Huge, really good start for him. BBD said this before. We feel a name we haven't said a lot this year. Feel like he normally pops up in some of the standouts and things like that. Good for him. Good for Chris Archer. One hit. What was it? 5 shutout innings. His longest scoreless start of the season.
He's got some interesting game log stuff to look at. I don't believe he's broken 78 pitches in an outing. He's saying all the right things about it. I wish Trev was here. If he's probably monitored the Archer situation as a friend of Archer and a twin. But he's been like pretty effective this year. The numbers look good.
Happy for
curious
Archer.
what that's fully looking like.
Thoracic outlet syndrome guy. I'm sure some of that ties in.
They're managing him and it's working.
I'll wait for Trev to talk about Wes Johnson, the pitching coach, leaving, because that's obviously a bit of a wild topic. And then the big one, 2 of the big boys linking up in Interleague, Blue Jays-Brewers. I sent you guys off with some Blue Jays talk. John and Trev were nervous about it. They've got a little tough stretch going, and they haven't clicked, and they're getting some efforts. Alejandro Kirk. My goodness, the man is off the reservation. Don't look at his height. Look at his heart, or just look at his baseball stats. He has been out of control. 4 hits and a 2-run homer in the first game. That was on Manoah Day, 6.22 Ernie's. Trev's guy, Matt Chapman, with a 3-run double. And that becomes the only game they win. Brewers put up a 5 spot in the first 3 innings of game 2, and they score 8 in the first 2 innings of the final game, including our guy, Rowdy Tellez, with a homer in each of the first 2 innings. Whoops. The big boy, he's currently got the best OPS on the Brewers. We love Rowdy Tellez. Brewers might be getting some help back soon. Woodruff and Wong coming back soon. Although Renfroe looks like he's going to the IL. Trevor, we got you back. We got Isla Fed. You're muted, I think.
I'm back.
Okay, let's go.
When she says that she needs to eat, I feed her because she's a picky eater.
Sure.
I know she's really hungry right now. So I appreciate the patience with me there. Where are we at right now?
I just kind of did a whole beautiful speed through the IL. I guess the 2 things that need to be discussed, if you have any thoughts on Brewers Blue Jays, because that's kind of the premier matchup, or if you're ready to talk about Wes Johnson.
Brewers Blue Jays, love that series. Very aesthetically pleasing for me. I think, you look, Brewers getting the offense in random places. Rowdy Tellez doing it. We knew he'd show up, but to be the leading offensive guy on that team is good for him. Barrios continues to have just tough starts, man. And I'm the biggest Barrios fan there is. You guys know that.
I do.
That's true.
But we got to figure some stuff out with him. I don't know exactly what it is, but it just hasn't come how they thought it would. I mean, give him the deal. This is not the Barrios that I know. How about that? But good on the Brewers, man. Renfroe's out. They got to make the move that I've been promised. I'm waiting. I'm waiting on it. And Wes Johnson, we could talk about that all day.
Yeah, man.
It's maybe the most fascinating thing to happen in baseball, like in a long time.
Trev, we still got the individual part of the show coming up. I'll give you my short spiel on it, and then I'll let you go. Obviously, it's jarring. It's jarring. It's pro sports. It's supposed to be the mecca. It's supposed to be the pinnacle, and that's where it kind of jars you. When you put everything in the pot, it ends up making sense. Wes Johnson's getting paid a lot more money to go to LSU, where his ask is going to be a lot different. He's going to get, it's LSU. They're a baseball powerhouse. He's going to get some of the best top prospect young arms, and he's going to be able to mold them and work with them. Probably a little better work-life balance, a little bit, less travel and things like that. Recruiting and stuff. There's a discussion there. But man, this doesn't feel right, dude. He's leaving a first place baseball team to go join a college program
during the season.
You know what it tells me is the coaches need to be paid more, and this is gonna have a snowball effect on all of that. Think about your pitching coach. How much is that guy worth? How much are you paying him? Because now he's seeing what he's worth. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
You see it a little bit like with head coaches in football. Like the head coaches for college teams, I think make more than the pro coaches, if I'm not mistaken. And that's because these college teams have massive boosters and they're able to do that. You don't really think about that baseball wise, but a program like LSU, some of these other SEC type schools, they got the money, and the NIL thing has changed that with the way they can go get the money. Like, we're going to see this have a ripple effect through all of baseball. When you're a coach like Wes Johnson, having great success in your organization, making $350,000, and someone says to you, we can double that for you. I mean, you got to at least explore the option, right? Yeah. And for him, it was quick. And I was reading about that. I guess like they found out like on the plane, and the news kind of broke. So like there was some muttering on the Twins charter, like as he was playing at the coach's card game. Aaron Gleeman had a good story about this for The Athletic. And then when the plane landed, news really broke to everybody on the team. So there wasn't a lot of time for them to prepare like statements, all of this stuff. I guess he's going to stay on for the series. Really? One more series and I'm out of here. Like how that shit's crazy to me.
You got to have some built up street cred to do that. And hey, but you know what? Maybe you don't. Maybe that's where I started this, and that's where I'm at grips with it. I think he can look at those Twins players and say, I'm sorry, I'm getting more than double the salary now. Like, I'm getting a life improvement, and that's in any walk of life. You should be rooting for people to do that. So that's pretty wild. For the Twins, we talked about circling where did Bryce Harper get hurt. We talked about the Angels and Mariners circle the Brawl and what happens after. For the Twins, post pitching coach, that's going to be a thing.
Tom Ace said he should just parachuted out of the plane.
Just straight out.
See you guys.
We had a good run, fellas. Foomp.
Get me close to Louisiana. I'll glide in the rest of the way.
Just get a good angle at it. Trav, you are right. Salaries are going to go up because...
Oh my, they have to.
Think about how much we've talked about coaching on this show and how much important it's gotten recently. And if you're losing out on the best talent, that's not going to fly.
Teams like the Giants have, they've done just more coaches. They've taken like almost like out of the school playbook, like, hey, how many teachers can we have per kid? They're trying to just have more coaches. Guess what? That's about to get expensive.
Yeah.
You want the best guy. I've been saying this for years.
Here we go.
People have heard me say this on the show. If I was a team, a Major League Baseball team, I would invest heavily in my coaches' salaries, specifically in the minor leagues where these kids are getting molded and shaped. These guys in the minor league get paid nothing to coach the future of these billion-dollar franchises. You're putting together rosters that you're paying $200+ million a year, but you're paying a guy 35 to 40 grand or something, in the minor leagues. Like, why would anybody want to do that? It's a grind. It's so much work to do that. If I was a team, I would say, here's what I'm offering. It's a lot. It's a sustainable amount that you can go live a good life on. Come help mold our organizations, and teams just haven't done this. And this might be what changes everything.
It's a little mind-blowing, and that's why these college coaches are getting paid like that. You mentioned the boosters, but they're also still considered, they're molding young men, which, was kind of lost on the major league level as we went fully analytical and let the numbers decide it. Pretty wild. If I was a Twins fan, I'd be pissed off, man. We're losing our pitching coach to LSU?
LSU.
Go Tigers.
Well, you know what? But they said they didn't even really he didn't give them a chance to say, like, how can we keep you?
Right. Which, hey, maybe that's where he wants to be. Right.
I've talked to a lot of guys that get into coaching, and you don't realize how much work it is. And it's not just the on-field stuff, it's afterwards and all the reports that you have to write and all the paperwork that you have to do. I've heard it from managers, hitting coaches, pitching coaches, coaches in the minor leagues. That's the one thing they'll tell you, like, holy, I didn't know how much paperwork I was going to have to do, how many reports I was going to have to write every single night. So it is a absolute grind. And if you can pare down your work and get paid double, I mean, I'm on Team Johnson in this one.
Team Story, Ellie. Trev, we got to keep it moving, Big Daddy.
Where are we at?
We're at it. We're at Standout Performances that are brought to you by DraftKings Sportsbook. Trev, it's time to step up to the plate with DK, the official sports betting partner of Major League Baseball. New customers can bet just $5 on any game, and you'll get $150 in free bets no matter what, win or lose. They have their same game parlays that you can add up a couple bets for bigger payouts. I've been doing my Friday parlays. A couple winners, couple losers. Just being honest. Why don't you download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use promo code JOHNBOY. New customers can make any $5 MLB bet and get $150 in free bets no matter what. That's promo code JOHNBOY at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of Major League Baseball. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for details. MLB trademarks used with permission. Trevor Plouffe, would you like to give me your standout performer?
This is a guy that just probably deserves this award every single week. Shane McClanahan, 7 innings pitched, 1 earned run, 10 Ks, 4 hits, no walks. Yes. Oh, it was against the Pirates, Trev. What are you talking about? No big deal. This guy's gone 9 straight starts, 6 innings pitched or more with 2 earned runs or less. When this guy's on the mound, you have a really good chance to win the game. And guess what? Yeah, he did against the Pirates. Yankees, 2 games in a row he did it too. Okay, so this guy's getting it done. He's young dude, Rays. It's got to be very scary for everybody when you hear that. Young dude, lefty, throws cheese with the Rays. The sky's the limit for potential here, and he's been showing out. So shout out Shaney McClanahan.
He leads.
No nickname. He needs a better nickname. We need to give him one.
Well, Jimmy tried Mac, but we weren't sure if that works with
what was he talking about?
So we'll see if he's open to that. He's currently leading the American League in ERA, starts, innings pitched, strikeouts, ERA plus, WHIP, and hits allowed per 9 innings.
Is .832 WHIP, meaning per inning you allow .8 base runners. Is that good?
It's really good.
I like that one.
It's in fact the best. It's a great standout. Common foolish Bailey W. As I roasted him last night. My apologies, Bailey. I saw it. I took it. Trev,
Bailey's. Where are you, Bailey?
Where are you, Bailey? Trev, I'm going easy. I'm going Christian Javier. No hits, the Yankees for 7 innings, 13 strikeouts. It felt like they were never really in hitters' counts. You hear starting pitchers talk about it. David Cohn will talk about it on broadcast sometimes. You know, for starting pitchers, there's 4 starts a year that you feel on God mode and everything is working. There's 4 starts a year where it feels like you've got nothing. And then there's everything in between. And this was one of the 4 God mode starts of the year where Christian Javier was untouchable. The Yankees, they have the 2nd OPS in baseball. They're 1st in runs. They're 1st in homers. And he just locked him up, man. His breaking ball is disgusting. He's the guy that the Astros have used as their swing man in recent postseason. He's even done that a little bit this year. His ERA is down to 2.73, 81 strikeouts in 62 innings. He will be a factor in this postseason, whether he's starting or relieving. And by the way, he already has 11 playoff appearances. So, you know, when the 25-year-old is on the bump come October, he won't be scared about it.
I love it. Hold on. I'm dealing with some real quick.
Well, that's even perfect, Trev, because we're about to do a little quick slump watch. We'll do a high and tight slump watch as Trevor Plouffe tries to round up his little ones. It's summer, people. Ronnie Acuna Jr. was on slump watch back-to-back weeks with 3 for 13s. I tried to get him off. He stayed, and he gets off the right way. A 3 for 7 with the walk, 429. Couple claps for you, Ronnie.
Especially comboed with that last
right,
one.
when you pair it all together.
Bubble. Anyway, he's good.
It looks good. JD Martinez, 5 for 13, double, 2 RBI, 3 walks, 385, a 500 on base. Jumbo Dong, some people call him. Santiago Espinal, 2 for 10, and he's really been in it. There's a chance he stays. I'm going to leave it for now.
I think he's going to stay.
I think he stays. Nick Castellanos, 6 for 17. I mean, that's 353. Yeah. He's got to get going with Bryce.
Looks like all singles, but maybe Bryce being out, the DH spots opened up a little bit.
Hey, sometimes a little bingo will get you going.
Pressure's on.
Trade deadline specialist Wilson Contreras, 4 for 11, double, 3 RBI, 2 walks, 364, 462, and a hit by pitch. He is off. So let's reset. So we think we're leaving Espinal.
I think he's the only one staying, right?
I think so. Potential players to add. J.P. Crawford. This one's a little risky because he might be suspended, but 0 for 10. A.J. Pollock, another friend of the pod, 0 for 10 himself. Nolan Gorman, the big prospect we just gave a lot to, 0 for 13. Baseball finds a way. Ryan McMahon, 0 for 10. And Jake Cronenworth, 0 for 9.
Awesome.
Oh.
Phillies picked up our friend Oscar Mercado.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Interested.
Get hot. A little defense. Get hot for a little bit, Oscar. And that was Guardians 40 man. We just talked about that a little bit. BBD, I think what I'm going to do, and I'm sorry to my Rocks, I think I'm going to leave Ryan McMahon off. The Rocks are kind of out of it. Sorry, Ryan McMahon. Love you. Defensive stud. Defensive wizard. These other 4, Nolan Gorman, hot in the streets. Rook. Let's get him figured out for the Cardinals. A.J. Pollock, we've talked about the White Sox a lot. They kind of need him to go.
If he can get going, it can change something.
J.P. Crawford, just in the news for a lot of reasons. So we'll see if he even gets suspended or what goes on. And Cronenworth, I definitely wanted to be on there because without Machado,
yeah, he's gonna have to step up.
They need him to go. So our new updated slump watch: Santiago Espinal, Nolan Gorman, A.J. Pollock, J.P. Crawford, and Jake Cronenworth.
Dirt nasties on Fuego. That means I'm on fire, baby. Like Waco.
Trev, you want to give me the hot boys right now? Because I love watching you get juiced up by who's hot.
It's hot here.
Yep.
Isla's gone out of the Magnum Condom studio. Not a place for your young daughter. She's gone. Isaac Paredes. Is it Isak?
It's Isak.
Love that for him.
Yeah.
Love that for him. Isak Paredes, 6 for 8, a homer, 2 doubles, 4 RBIs, and a walk. Alejandro Kirk, our thick, short king, 6 for 10, 2 homers, 5 ribbies, and 2 walks. Another shorty. It's the short episode. Jose Altuve went into Yankee Stadium, 5 for 14, 2 homers, 2 doubles, 2 ribbies, 4 walks, and a hit by pitch. Like that. Wasn't that the first pitch of the series?
Yeah, sure was.
Yeah, like that. Seth Brown, 6 for 13, a homer, 3 doubles, and 4 RBIs. Josh Bell, trade piece, 7 for 12, a triple, 2 doubles, 2 RBIs, and a walk. Alex Verdugo. Might hear more about him later, so I'll skip him. Mike Trout starts the brawl. It's all his fault. That's what Jake said.
Jake said it.
4 for 9, home run, 3, a triple, a double, 2 RBIs, and 4 walks. Brandon Nimmo goes off, 6 for 13, a homer, 2 doubles, 2 RBIs. And Nico Horner, 6 for 11, a homer, 2 ribbies, and 2 walks. They were all in Fuego. In parentheses on our notes, it says, weak in Fuego because offense was down.
Yeah, I saw there was a note at the top that it was one of the worst offensive weekends of the season. So that's something of note. I don't know what that is.
It's my turn.
It sure is, Trev.
Kelsey brought us in there with that beautiful voice. I'm going back and forth with my name. It's not going to be a Talkin Baseball Award. My first name for it was Put Some Respect on his name.
Right.
But then I started thinking it's kind of the opposite year award also. And we're going to talk about our guy, Michael Harris of the Atlanta Braves. Now, if my notes are right, youngest player in the National League. Okay.
Oh, okay.
If you remember last year, what happened to the Braves? Did they lose an outfielder?
Sure did.
They lost an outfielder. It helped. Somehow they went out and got all these guys, and it was merry. They win the World Series. This year's completely different because they've added a guy out in the outfield. So you got Duvall out in left. You got Acuna in right now, and Michael Harris has been playing a bang-up center field for them. 103 at bats, 355, 524 for an 879 OPS out of your center field. That's good for a 138 OPS plus. He can go get it in the outfield too. His defense was on display this weekend. A couple of really nice diving catches there. He's allowed Acuna to stay in right field and not cover as much ground. Adam Duvall hits way better when he's in left field. He's a good outfielder, but let's let this guy chill out a little bit. Michael Harris, go run around and go get it. He's been doing exactly that. He's been kind of like an unsung hero of the Braves. And I just wanted to shine a little bit of light because I thought it's kind of funny. You had Acuna go out last year. They figured things out. This year, they're adding a stud outfielder. This guy, 21 years old, 112 days, and he's coming up doing what he's doing, in the thick of a season where, they needed the turnaround. They've done that. He's going to be right in the thick of it, man. So shout out Michael Harris. Put respect on his name. Opposite year award. I don't know, man. You just deserve some shine. So keep going.
Looks like his Twitter handle is Money Mike.
Love that too.
So about that, I did the Farm to Fame episode with Peter when he got called up, and yeah, Braves fans are all about this guy. He's doing it on both sides, dude. To be a center fielder and have a 330 batting average and 879 OPS and be flagging it down while being the youngest dude in baseball. I think he's one of those guys that during the pandemic he went different than everyone else and he elevated himself. And now he's found himself as the Braves center fielder. Unreal. Trev, great award. I'm going to do the Chiropractor Award.
I can't wait for this one.
Trev, the Boston Red Sox. You might have heard me say this. They're the third best team in the American League right now. And they are on the way up. Sputtering start, and now they're starting to go and figure it out. Part of that, my guy Alex Verdugo. A John Boy Media favorite, essentially a friend of the pod while being a half friend of the pod. Rose rotation. I know we've interacted with his brother. You can butter knife cut his stats up a lot of different ways, but him starting to go for the Boston offense, I think, is massively important for this team. You mentioned in June, he's started 21 games. The Red Sox are 18-3 in those games. He's hitting .317 with a .391 on base and an .855 OPS. When you play the Boston Red Sox, Devers is going to do his thing. You pencil him in for a couple big hits. JD Martinez and Bogarts, kind of the same, right? One of them might have a mess series. If that happens, the other one's probably a stud. Trevor Story, we talked about him a little bit. He's starting to go, driving in runs. Tough start, but he's Trevor Story. Alex Verdugo has had a nice start to his young baseball career. He's still pretty young. He's 26. He's played a lot of ball. He's a career 284, 340 on base guy. Coming into the month, he was hitting .227 with a .263 on base. Trev, he's up to .256, 305 now. I think he's going to keep going because he's a better hitter than those numbers. And Alex Verdugo, for me, man, when you play the Red Sox, he's the true backbreaker. That's why he's getting the Chiropractor award. You know those other guys are going to get you here and there. Verdugo's kind of the wild card sometimes. But, man, when he is right, he is a tough out. He is a tough playoff baseball out when he is right. And it looks like he might be right. So I'm giving it to Doogie. When he's right, he's also a fun player to watch when he's right.
I definitely see some positive regression there coming. We talked about that with Story too. Like he's some more hits are going to fall for him. Obviously, that's the same thing. It's started to do it already with Verdugo. When I'm thinking about what you're saying, like the back break or the guy that's going to get to you, another name that comes up, and maybe a little bit of people are going to remember what he did last year in the postseason. Jock Peterson and Alex Verdugo are very similar, like kind of at bats there, where it's like you might pitch around somebody to get to them and they make you pay, or like they can take a series over if need be. Like they can just go ahead and take one over and they can lead the way. So I love this award for him. I believe they are very similar players, and I believe the Red Sox are very much still in it. Like I didn't even mention like who they got coming back. Eovaldi, Whitlock, Sale, like all slated to come back. The Red Sox team's going to be fun, and you're right, man. Like Verdugo's a big part of it. And those damn City Connect jerseys, they're so good. And shout out stats that exist but don't matter for pointing that out.
Doogie, man. He makes that lineup just a little bit deeper, and I think it changes the whole team. BBD, you got a best friend?
Max Fried, 6.2, 2 earns, 9 Ks, 6 hits and a walk. It's his third best friend of the week award on the season, most among all pitchers. Ties a couple guys for the overall lead with 3.
And I see him, you mentioned, tied with some other guys. Our guy does deserve a shout out. Probably should have done it earlier. Did you see the catch Ian Happ made, Trev?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. He's a stud. 9-figure Ian, you mean?
Okay, 9-figure Ian. I didn't know he had that in the bag.
Oh, he's got that. He's a sneaky athlete there.
He is an athlete.
Hey, Max Fried. Is Max Fried becoming like a premier? Like, he's a premier guy in the NL, like a guy.
Maybe he becomes a premier guy in the AL.
Talk about 9 figures.
Whoops. Hey, we normally do elevator talk. We're at $1.56, and we don't even have the elevator thing.
I spun a random thing.
What do you got?
Spin it.
The New York Mets.
Okay, Trev, you got anything on the New York Metropolitans? 1 minute on the clock.
I like where you're at.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see what you do at the trade deadline. We mentioned DeGrom 20-pitch live bullpen. We're trying to get the track stats on that. Scherzer is going to be back very soon. I say it all the time about this team. They're a $200 and something million gritty roster, which is you don't see too often. I kind of like that combination right there. Mix in Uncle Stevie at the helm. We have not talked enough about the Mets, the baseball world in general, as of late. Start off the season, yes, but as of late, they've kind of just flown under the radar. They're going to be there. We're talking a lot about them the next couple of months.
And might have to compare it to other teams. They've got 5 guys in their lineup. This is excluding pitchers, with 1.9 WARs or better. Lindor, Alonso, Starling Marte, McNeil, and Nimmo. Those are guys contributing regularly, kind of on both sides of the ball. I mean, not you, Pete, but you do your thing.
Escobar and Canna behind those 2 guys. I mean, that's a deep lineup right there.
Luis Guillorme, that diving catch.
Jig sucks.
Love you guys. Chat, huge show.
Great job today.
I am starving.
I too am starving.
Hey, pre-show, I'm in a good spot.
Eat a salad.
Way to step up, chat.